I mean, yeah, it's fun to go fast. I think that's why people like riding roller coasters, you know.
It's the fastest motorsport for a reason. I've done a lot of flying in my life, you know, Navy, flew F-4s off a carrier, and this is the only thing that really gets my blood pumping anymore. You know, I'm an adrenaline junkie, and I think anybody who does this is.
The addiction is flying the airplanes here. We can't do this any other place in the world.
Once you get flying in your blood, that's all you think about.
They call us adrenaline junkies. There's no other sport in the world like you take an airplane and go 500 miles an hour around a closed course.
Once that's instilled in your system, you're hooked.
Nobody goes faster than us. Nobody goes faster than us.
It's the STIHL National Championship Air Races, presented by Reno Tahoe.
The special week in the desert in Nevada. Nobody goes faster than these racers here. About 100,000 people will pass through these grounds here, absolutely elated to enjoy all the speed, all the competition, the intensity, the great tradition, the great airplanes that wind up here. We get ready for a great day of racing. We continue in the first round of medal racing. Tommy Sanders here with veteran airshow pilot and announcer, the Wild Thing, Steve Stavrakakis, and we are on our way.
Tommy, we sure are. Our jets are on the course now. They're going to be on our 8-mile course. They're going to go around behind Peavine Mountain. They're going to be brought down the chute as you see in our graphics right now. Let's listen as our pace plane releases them on the course.
Okay, race control, we're 2 minutes from the chute.
Copy, 2 minutes.
30 degrees to go, guys. Okay, jets, starting a left turn all the way around. Okay, race control, jets are around the backside, cleared for the course.
The pace cleared on course.
Okay, let's move it up, line abreast, start downhill. Move it up just a bit. Gentlemen, you have a race.
As our pace plane pulls up and takes over the role as safety plane, our pilots now will race to the guide pylon on the mountain directly in front of them. As you see, our pilots can accelerate ahead of the aircraft next to them. They just cannot change their perspective lanes until they get to that guide pylon. When they do, right about now on your left screen, it's a sharp left turn and they're racing.
Back 5, boss.
Jerry Kirby in the plane called Dark Shadow. The de Havilland Vampire was the top qualifier, over 513 miles an hour.
Yeah, Jerry Kirby, call sign Jive. He has a distinguished military aviation career. Hard to refer to him as one of the rookies out here, but he is a rookie at Reno. Right now being challenged on the outside by that little Delphin jet of Pete Zaccagnino.
Pete Zaccagnino, of course, a two-time national champion here. One time in 2015, it was in one of those de Havilland Vampires.
Yeah, the unique little de Havilland Vampire, they've got a very, very unique profile. It's got the split tail boom, the twin tail boom on it, which makes it distinctly different out here than what the other airplanes are. Plus, there's a lot of parts of this airplane are made of wood, actually balsa wood. De Havilland also made the de Havilland Mosquito, which was a twin Merlin-powered strike bomber. A lot of the components in the cockpit of the Mosquito were carried over into the Vampire as one of their early jet fighters from the Royal Air Force.
Hard to believe the company that's mostly known for those workhorses of the North, the Beaver and the Otter, can make such a fast and agile little jet airplane.
Yeah, what we thought was a flying egg a few short years ago, Pete Zaccagnino took that away when he won the gold race in 2015 in his de Havilland Vampire.
Yeah, that'll give you instant respect out there, and these guys have to be respecting each other. It's 1 and 2. Jerry Kirby in race number 11, Dark Shadow, the de Havilland Vampire, and Pete Zaccagnino right on his tail as it stands right now. And this is great racing.
Yeah, right now, Jerry's the fastest rookie at Reno. And again, it's hard to refer to Jive as a rookie with his distinguished aviation career. But again, right now, right in this point in time, he is a rookie.
Well, as we said, he had the top qualifying time, 513.75 miles per hour. Very, very impressive. And as we learned last time we saw you in our 1B race, that pole position is very, very important.
Absolutely, because not only does it give you the first left turn onto the course, it also gives you clean air. As you see, Jive out here right now is enjoying that clean air, whereas Pete Zaccagnino is having to stay wide. You can't go to the inside, you can't go under, you have to fly high and wide when you make a pass on this course. So again, Jive has all the advantage in clean air and the shorter course.
Well, let's get to know this new quote-unquote pilot, Jerry Kirby, and let's get to know the Dark Shadow, the de Havilland Vampire, just a little bit better. A visit now with leader of this race, Jerry Kirby.
Well, in 1948, The modified version of this aircraft went to an altitude of over 59,000 feet. I've flown modern fighters and not been over 59,000 feet. So this airplane is very capable, and we're hoping to showcase it on the course, going very fast, but not quite that high. Let's do it at 50 feet.
Many squadrons fly the famous Vampire jets. On short notice, these planes are ready under the terms of the STIHL agreement to come to the aid of a fellow member which might be the victim of an aggressor's sudden attack.
It was a fighter, reconnaissance airplane, and trainer, because this is a two-seat aircraft. So there's a lot of uses that they haven't had. But one of the first jet aircraft to ever come into inventory in the world.
White flag, white flag.
You got to ask yourself, did Pete Zaccanino's win in 2015 in a Vampire arm the enemy? Because now they know what to use against him in his little Delphin jet. It's going to be interesting to see. We already know that the Vampires are a proven commodity. We know that Jerry Jive Kirby's a proven commodity with his distinguished military flying career. Will the two together be insurmountable for our other jet racers to overtake?
Checkered flag
In this 2019 running of the world's fastest motorsport.
Well, there you go. Top spot. Jerry Kirby, race number 11, the Dark Shadow, that 50-year-old plus piece of history in jet airplanes, piloted by, technically, the world's fastest rookie. Good stuff. And speaking of which, coming up next, Formula One, race 2A. Race number 1A was any indication, you won't want to miss it.
The STIHL National Championship Air Races are proudly presented by Reno Tahoe. Visit renotahoe.com. And brought to you by Oris, the official timekeeper of the National Championship Air Races. And presented by STIHL, maker of a full line of gasoline and battery-powered handheld outdoor power equipment. Find yours only at your authorized STIHL dealer. It's the STIHL National Championship Air Races, presented by Reno Tahoe.
Well, when you talk about Reno, you're talking about, of course, the biggest little city in the world. This region is inspiring, colorful above all things, vibrant, very ambitious, and even, well, a little bit offbeat, and that's what people love about a trip to this incredible area. There is the biggest little city in the world, and we are ready to get you out to the main attraction on this special week. We're going to take you right out and begin the racing in Formula One in the second round of medal action. We are on the deck, ready to start.
Formula One, 5 minutes, Formula One.
One of two classes that starts right here on the deck. And before, you have to do a decision even before you get the plane on the deck about your prop selection too, Steve.
Absolutely, Tommy. Think about if you were having a standing start bicycle race and you only had one set of gears to choose from.
Green flag.
Do you want a low ratio that's going to get you in the air sooner, or do you want a high ratio that's going to give you more speed at the end of the race? That's what these guys have to decide. Their crew chiefs and the pilots have to decide who they're flying against in this race. Do they need the quicker start, or do they need the top-end performance at the end?
Quickly, on your left, on that screen right there, those planes represent the hottest rivalry in this particular class right now, and more on that in just a moment or two.
Yeah, it's a class that runs our short course, our 3.5-mile course, starting with a Grand Prix style standing start. Now, when they take off, they can actually trade places or start racing at that point, but the laps do not officially start until they pass our steel start-finish pylon the first time. That first lap is what they call an oil warm-up lap that allows them to sort things out, get the airplanes up to operating temp, and then it's race on.
Yeah, they're going to be doing 8 laps around our 3-mile course here, approximately 3-mile course, and it's going to be a total of about 25 miles, and it will go very, very quickly because they're little, they're small, and we got some perspective on actually how small these airplanes are. When we were at the start there with human beings standing next to them, they basically wear these airplanes. They don't climb into them.
Yeah, one of the oldest classes of racing, they officially started in 1936 as midget racing based on the size. The airplanes have a minimum aircraft weight of 500 pounds, which is half the weight of a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. The minimum pilot weight with gear is 150 pounds. They all have fixed landing gear. They're monoplanes, meaning there's just a single wing. The early ones were the cassette or shoestring racers, which had steel tube fuselages, wooden and fabric-covered wings. Now our faster airplanes are carbon fiber airplanes. Some very, very unique and advanced construction materials put into these. However, they all still run the Continental O200 4-cylinder engine, originally taken from a Cessna 150 training aircraft. only instead of doing 100 miles an hour on 100 horsepower, these guys are doing over 200 miles an hour on 160 horsepower. 60% increase in power, 200% increase in speed.
And at the very top of the speed ratings for this week, those two planes right there. Justin Metters, the black and white plane Limitless, race number 34, the defending champion, and right behind him in qualifying within a mile an hour behind him, the first two qualifying races, Lowell Slater, Afraid Not, the champion in 2016 and 2017.
You know, the Formula One class is thought by many to be kind of an introductory class to air racing, but I'll tell you what, the competition, the camaraderie is as fierce and loyal as any class here at Reno.
And through all the classes, these guys definitely want to beat each other, but they, like true competitors, say, I want to beat you when you're at your best, not when you're having trouble. And that sort of sets us up for this story that's going on behind the scenes in this class right now, involving Justin Metters and Limitless.
The night before the first race, we found an oil leak on the airplane, and we thought we had it all fixed. And then during the first race, at some time during the first race, it let go. So we were leaking quite a bit of oil during that race. So after the race was over, our competitor in Endeavor, Steve Senegal, I was telling him about the problem, and he immediately offered up his other aircraft that he races here to take one of my crew members to Long Beach to pick up another oil cooler so we can get my airplane back in the air for tomorrow's race. It's pretty amazing stuff. If he hadn't have done that, I think we would probably still be out of the race. We would just be done, be sitting here spectating. So luckily he was kind enough to do that for us and get us back in the race. So now we can play.
White flag, white flag.
White flag, the last of 8 laps around our 3-mile course here, and this one has been basically a carbon copy of the last qualifying race right there, and it has been a carbon copy of the last couple of years. Justin Metters just barely holding off Lowell Slater.
Anytime you hear those names, you can flip a coin to see who's going to be in first or second. They are that close in every race together.
Well, the last race they were against each other. They finished within 1 second just about of each other, within 1 mile an hour, and this one is no different. Look at this with Lowell Slater. Got a position where he can gain a speed advantage as we head into the Valley of Speed and make these last few turns before heading for the start-finish pylon.
Great competitors, great friends, great entertainment value. Here we go as they drop the noses, trying to trade altitude for airspeed one last time as they head for the steel start-finish pylon. Is Justin going to hold him off?
Checkered flag.
Yes, he is.
Yep, Justin Metters running out the clock on Lowell Slater, but again, what a terrific race. The steel power move is Justin Metters holding off Lowell Slater yet again by less than a second. And there are your official standings right there. Metters, Slater, Steve Senegal, another former champion in 3rd place, gone through race 79. Well, do not go anywhere. We got the fastest biplanes on the planet coming up next.
You found the STIHL National Championship Air Races presented by Reno Tahoe.
It's fantastic Reno Tahoe, great for the outdoors. Pretty darn nice indoors as well. The craft brewery and bar scene in Reno Tahoe is continuing to grow. More than 30 craft breweries and distilleries here with more in the works. The Reno eatery scene, new restaurants, coffee shops, pub options are all popping up, creating a thriving food and drink mecca. And hey, if you want to eat outside, you have that option as well. So much to see and do here in Reno Tahoe, and the perfect spot for this incredible event.
1 minute, biplane.
Our sport biplane class consists of a lot of aerobatic pilots that have a chance to take their aerobatic pit special and go racing every September.
Biplane starter. Green flag, green flag.
Race control, activate zero ramp code 7.
They have to have at least 2 wings, 75 square foot of wing area, fixed pitch prop, Lycoming engine, fixed landing gear, conventional biplane configuration. Unless, of course, you're Phantom. The rest of these guys are all flying pit specials, fabric covered biplanes that are aerobatic. But they do start with our Grand Prix style standing start, with each row starting in 4-second intervals, which is adjusted to their finishing positions. Again, they're on the 3.5-mile course with the lap count starting after the initial takeoff or oil warm-up lap. Here's another opportunity for our crew chief star pilots to pick. Do they want to start out in low gear on their bicycle? Do they want to start out in a high gear? The difference is you're going to have a quick takeoff or you're going to have a faster finish. Looks like one of the pilots that has chosen that higher gear on his bicycle is Andrew Bueller in the Phantom, the composite Mong race plane.
And it doesn't take long ever for the Phantom to regain that ground. All of these biplanes in this race were built for aerobatics, except for the Phantom. The Phantom was built specifically for this purpose right here, and the dominance of this airplane through the years speaks for that purpose of design.
Yeah, none of these aircraft are allowed to run turbos, superchargers, or funny fuel, and they all have the fixed pitch prop, fixed pitch landing gear, and 2 wings, making them very, very competitive. But no airplane has been as competitive as the Phantom. With 14 combined wins since 2004, Tom Aberle and Andrew Buehler made a statement.
Well, unfortunately for the world of aviation and all of us, we lost Tom Aberle recently, but right now, we're going to talk about this week's Reno Tahoe Top Gun, and for that, we're going to turn to Buehler and Aberle, the partners in the Phantom.
4th time I'm racing the airplane here at Reno, and again, hoping for a win. And it's a purpose-built racing biplane. This is what we built it for. And of course, I got to mention Tom Aberle, and unfortunately, he passed away earlier this year. And without him, this airplane would have never came into existence. We've been partners in the airplane since day one, but without Tom and his expertise and his shop, there wouldn't have been a Phantom. Most of the design was on a cocktail napkin, and then Tom built the airplane. So some of it was makeup as you go. It's truly it's a grassroots. Get a bunch of guys together as a hobby, and it's like, let's build an airplane that goes fast. And obviously, that's what they did.
And boy, they did it quite well. They made a business out of their hobby, and that business was going very, very fast. With the exception of 2014, 2016, they have been the class of the class with their sport biplanes. The Phantom has been untouchable.
Well, it's been untouchable in this race 3A as well.
Checkered flag, checkered flag.
Seamlessly across the STIHL start-finish pylon. Another win for Phantom, the modified Mong Sport and Andrew Buehler. They are on their way to the gold round as the prohibitive favorites. Now we come back. It's going to be the sport planes built in garages to go over 400 miles an hour.
The STIHL National Championship Air Races are presented by Reno Tahoe. Visit renotahoe.com. Don't miss the 57 STIHL National Championship Air Races September 16th through the 20th. Get your tickets now at airrace.org. And presented by STIHL, maker of a full line of gasoline and battery-powered handheld outdoor power equipment. Find yours only at your authorized STIHL dealer.
2019 Reno Air Races.
I like your enthusiasm. Exuberant fans from around the world are here for the only closed pylon multi-class racing available in the world. This is an incredible singularity, a one-of-a-kind event, and we got a one-of-a-kind class here.
611181.
This class is made up of amateur or kit-built aircraft. They're powered by internal combustion engines of under 1,000 cubic inches. Our biggest class with 36 entrants, a very relaxed set of limitations because this is essentially 400 mile an hour research and development stage for these guys.
Everybody else, hold what you got. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a race. Have fun.
A lot of the stuff you find on these airplanes will end up on your family Cessna and family Piper down the road, but this is where they R&D them, right here on the race course.
This is Sport Heat 2B. This is the silver class, a second in the actual medal racing program here at Reno, and we are just about underway, Steve.
Yeah, these airplanes are fuel injected. They have turbos or twin turbo construction on the engines. Most of them are running Macaulay, Hartzell, Whirlwind, or Caddo props, mainly composite props. These guys are allowed to have controllable pitch, though. They're not fixed pitch props.
Good start.
So again, this is a huge testing bed for the things that end up in general aviation.
Most eye-popping start of all belongs to Carl Grove, the GA1, the Lancer Super Legacy race number 181. He had to start at the back of the pack, but man, he has been blowing through this field. He's already jumped into 4th place, right behind Vicky Benzik.
I look for him to move all the way to the front, Tommy, because he's fast enough to run with our fastest gold planes. He just got dropped down to this race because of some problems yesterday.
You went outside.
Usually we don't show the 2B class, but everyone's so evenly qualified here time-wise that it's going to make for some great racing, and so we have. But Carl is just really making everyone else look a little bit slow right here.
All right, here it's coming around too. You have me in sight.
Plus, these are very, very popular airplanes that you can find at fly-ins or airports all over the country on just about any weekend.
And these people use them for other purposes besides racing, right?
These are Corvettes in the sky.
No problem for the first 3 of y'all. Who's behind you? I got you, Carl.
Carl Grove has gone from last, and now he's on his way up to the 2nd, 3rd, and 1st positions here. Now, Keep in mind, too, that not only is he overtaking these airplanes at a rapid pace, he's having to pass on the outside and make sure he doesn't go outside of the outer course boundary. That would be an instant disqualification in the process of doing this.
Yeah, we just saw him go over past race number 2. That's Walker.
5, 181's on your right.
Grove now is stalking Vicky Benzing. Vicky Benzing, one of the veterans here, very, very well known, and he's taken it from her, so only Conrad Huffstutler remains ahead of him on this race course. Well, some exceptional racing going on with Carl Grove of Redlands, California right now, the 181 Lancer Super Legacy. Making short work of the rest of the field.
Clear call. 90181's on your right. Got this. You're cleared in.
We mentioned Vicky Benzing, whom we just went by there. If you followed this race through the years, you know her name. Very versatile, flies jets, can fly everything that races out here. And her story is a very, very interesting one of the top female competitors.
So the Reno Air Races are the fastest motorsport known to mankind, and I am the fastest woman in Reno ever. So I'm the fastest woman in motorsports right now. This is a shout out to all the women in the audience that make up at least half of the audience. I'm racing for all of you.
White flag, white flag.
You know, along with being a very, very talented multi-class racer here at Reno, Vicky is also a very popular air show pilot on the air show circuit when not racing.
And she won this 2B sport class last year, as a matter of fact, so she is still active and very, very successful. And right now, the most successful on this field is Carl Grove. He finally overtook Conrad Huffstutler, and he's just got to bring this thing home right now, stay out of the way of the traffic that is slower, and it should be a pretty easy step for Carl.
Yeah, with his decisive victory in this race, he's obviously going to bump back up into sport gold where this plane belongs.
90 on your right. I got you here, cleared in too.
Beautiful moment for Carl Grove, and it just keeps getting better and better. He's actually gaining speed as we watch him right now closing out this race. And here he comes, the STIHL start-finish pylon.
Checkered flag, checkered flag.
He is going to put this one away. First place, Carl Grove in the GA1.
I was at the back, so I actually didn't finish the last race. I maydaid out of the last race with some overheating issues, and so I had to start at the back, so I have to work my way all the way from the back to the front. So that's fun, but it's also challenging to make sure you got to get by every individual and be safe. So yeah, it was awesome. It was really good.
We'll call Carl the comeback kid of the day, absolutely. Ahead of Vince Walker, Conrad Huffstutler, and Vicky Benzing, populating the top 4 positions. Well, that's going to do it for us for right now, but when we come back, we will have a great racing card for you as we get closer and closer to those medal races, gold, silver, bronze, next time.